And before we begin, maybe what we might want to do is just quickly go around and just introduce ourselves, because I see some new faces and some not so new faces. So it might be a good idea just to say who you are and your affiliation with the chapter. My name is Nicole Jean Christian. I'm the membership chair and environmental justice and climate change chair and the Black History Month co-chair. Ms. Bowman.
Ellen Claudette Bowman. I'm the communications coach, committee co-chair and Black History Month committee co-chair.
Miss Elise.
I'm Elise Nichols Powell. I'm a member of the branch, the assistant treasurer, and a member of the communications committee.
Thank you. Mr. Mako.
My name is John Mako. I am the branch secretary.
All right, moving down. Sarah, if you just want to say your name and your affiliation.
I'm Sarah Dowd, and I am a member of the Stafford County, Virginia NAACP, and I am one of the panelists for today to talk to you, everyone, about mental health.
Wonderful. And Miss Dolores?
I am a guest of Mr. and Mrs. Bowman. That's my brother and my sister-in-law. So I was invited by them.
Oh, so you're good people by extension. Hello, Miss Dolores.
Thank you.
Welcome you and Sarah. And Dr. Bob?
Hi, good afternoon. Robert Smith, public health physician, all the way in Brooklyn.
All the way from the planet of Brooklyn. Thank you so much, Dr. Smith. And Miss Monet? I see, so it says Monet or M-O-N-E with the mask. Want to say hello? You're on mute. We'll come back. Joshua Batson, did you want to say hello?
Nope.
Okay, he said no. Okay, Mr. Batson. Josh, introduce yourself. Stand up. We can't see you. All right, Mr. Batson. All right. And Miss Monet? The young lady with the mask that waved at us. You want to introduce yourself? Who is that? Is that Dr. Key? We don't know who you were. We did not know who you were with this mask on.
I'm in a public place, so I'm around other people.
Oh.
We are still practicing caution.
Okay.
So I bring you greetings. How is everyone doing? And I hope you're enjoying this Black History Month.
Thank you, Dr. Key. We didn't recognize you. That's right. Play it safe. And Mr. Colson. Mr. Colson. All right. And I see someone signed in on a phone number 516, ending in 4513. Would you care to introduce yourself? Okay. All right. I think we've done the introductions. Dr. Key, are you ready for us to begin, or did you want to wait? Oh, that's Mr. Greer. Hello, Mr. Greer. The 516 number. Welcome.
If you're on mute when you are on the phone, pressing *6 should mute or unmute you, depending on whether or not you're muted or not.
All right. Well, thank you. Welcome everyone to our 2022 Black History Month program for the Brookhaven NAACP chapter number 2133. John, if you could put the PowerPoint up, we will begin, starting with our program. Just scroll down to the program.
Sorry.
All right. Mr. Colson, if you could honor us by opening us up in prayer in the pledge. Mr. Colson. I saw him. I'm not sure if he can hear us. If not, we'll move on. He's muted. All right. One moment. All right. I don't know if Mr. Greer wants to do the prayer for us. We're looking at the elders, Mr. Greer or Miss Christian. Is Mr. Greer able to unmute? Deacon Greer?
Unmute
Right.
you, press star.
Is that Deacon Greer? Oh, okay. Marvin is in the dental chair. He can't talk right now. He's at the dentist. Okay. Mr. Greer? All right, we're gonna ask our sister, Mother Barbara Christian. She's gonna open us in prayer, and then we will have the pledge.
Okay, let's bow our heads. Most Heavenly Father, we'd like to come to you this afternoon to bless our afternoon program so someone can hear and understand and move along and forward in our lives in this journey that we have. Lord, we want to thank you for all the things you have done for us, Lord. You kept us and kept us clean and kept us going as we also surviving today. Thank you, Lord. And we want to give you all the honor and all the praise for all the things you have done. In our darling son's name, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen, thank you. And Mr. Bowman, did you want to lead us in the pledge? I saw you stood up and covered your heart.
No,
All right, everyone
not
stand.
at this time.
We'll do the pledge. Everyone stand if you can. I pledge allegiance to the
To
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under
Under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and justice for all.
for all.
And John, if you could allow me to share the screen, we will now play our national Negro anthem. Lift every voice and sing.
Okay,
Not able to share.
you should be able to share your
Okay,
screen.
there we go. Thank you. And now we will have today's opening remarks by none other than our President, Branch President, Dr. Georgette Green.
You can't hear her.
We can't hear you, Dr. Key. There's no audio. You may have to rejoin with audio. Yeah, you may have to rejoin with audio.
Yep, now you're muted. Turn mute off again.
Yeah, we could ask Ms. Bowman to give us the program purpose, and you can jump off and rejoin with audio. Maybe that might help, because we're getting no sound at all.
Should I go ahead?
All right, so Ms.
Okay.
Bowman, if you could share with us the program purpose, and we'll allow Dr. Key to
Okay.
rejoin with audio.
Okay. Again, hello, members and friends. I'm Ellen Claudette Bowman, Black History Committee co-chair. The purpose of this year's event is to bring people together to celebrate Black History Month, and Black history is American history, and to hear about your physical and mental health and the environment. So please join us on the Communications Committee to help us develop our quarterly newsletter to spread the word about all of the successes of the Brookhaven branch NAACP. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Bowman. And Elise, as co-chair of the committee, of the Communications Committee, did you have any remarks about today's program?
Well, we will be sending out a review of today's program in the newsletter. the
Wonderful.
next newsletter. Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Key, let's see if we can hear you. Nothing yet. Okay. Well, as soon as you are ready, we definitely will make sure that we make a moment.
Anything now?
Yes.
Now we
Yes.
hear you loud and clear. Dr. Key, please give us some welcoming opening comments for today's program. Thank you.
Okay, so greetings from the Southampton African American Museum. You are here and we are unveiling the digital tapestry. Currently, we are live in the museum. We have a whole bunch of people here with us now. So we're actually viewing, as we speak, the digital tapestry, which you'll have an opportunity to come. So for us, Black History is 365. It's not just this month. And as you see, we are practicing COVID safety, and we're always working here in Southampton in the museum. We have a Girl Scout troop with us here today, so we're happy that we are working in the museum, and we are reviewing the history of our people, the Great Migration. I happen to have all of this history with me here today. So when you get a chance, we hope that you will come and be with us and review some of the work that myself and also Nicole has done here in the village of Southampton. So talking about our history, the museums and barbershops and what it has meant for our community, talking about economic development and the fact that this is one of the businesses that people of African American descent have been able to do, one of the only businesses. What they are doing is viewing digital tapestry. So we even talk about the fact that African American women at that time, this was one of the only things that they could do. And many of you ladies will know some of these products and the hot comb. So when you think about that and how far we have come and talking about the nuances, and then we get into historical perspective of how many of the barbers back in the day were not even able to include and cut African Americans' hair because they didn't want to mix. So we get into some of the issues of segregation as well in the early days and talk about George Washington's barber as well. So here at the museum, doing the work, that we normally do. So I want to bring greetings to you very briefly, and thank you for carrying on with this program. I thank my executive committee, Nicole, Mrs. Bowman, Mr. Bowman, John, and all of you that are here today, Ms. Elise, Mr. Colson, who's indisposed at the moment, but for you, and especially you, and our honored guests that are here today with us, who can make it and who couldn't. But it's so very important that we celebrate this history and highlight our accomplishments, but also take care of our well-being, because it is so very crucial to take care not just of our physical bodies, but of our mental bodies. And we know we are living in crucial times where we see turmoil all around, at home and abroad. So when we think about people, we have to remember that this is a time that we must reflect on the human aspect of who we are. So I bring you greetings. I thank you for giving me this time and space. And please carry on the good work that you have already begun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Key, and continue doing the great work. I was able to work with the SAM executive committee to get a grant to offset the cost of that digital tapestry. So if that's something we want to bring to the town of Brookhaven, that might be something that we can pursue as a chapter. Thank you so much. And now we're going to move into just a little bit of fun before we get to the serious business. We're right on track. We have a little bit of trivia for you. We're going to do this by the honor system. If everyone could take out a sheet of paper besides the committee chairs, number it 1 to 7. We just have 7 quick questions, and we have 2 prizes for first and second prize. We have a Panera Bread and a Grubhub gift card for the winners, and we will mail those to you. But we have 7 questions about the NAACP and about Black history. And we thought that that would be something fun to ask you, did you know? So I'm going to also make an appeal for the membership committee at this time. Membership is the lifeblood of our organization. We are only $30 per year, and we have tiers of silver, bronze, silver, and gold. If you are interested in that, we are the world's oldest and boldest civil rights organization. At any given moment, this NAACP has a multitude of policies, laws, and programs on the books as we are at the front lines of fighting for the rights and justice of all people. We are not only a Black organization, but we are fighting for the rights for all. We started as a Black-led organization, but we are here to equalize and to fight for everyone's right, regardless of race, creed, sexual orientation, ethnicity, or religion. So we implore you to join the fight. Children, youth are only $10. So every person here knows a youth under 18. You can join for them. That is the best birthday present you can give them, is a gift of knowledge and understanding and joining the fight for civil rights. So I wanted to make sure I did that appeal as membership chair. And now I'm going to turn it over to John, who's going to do, John and Elise are going to carry us through the first 6 questions and write your answers. And at the end, we will give you the answers. And then you're going to tally your own score and be honest about what your score is. And the 2 highest scores will walk away with the prizes. So we're going to do this in the honor system because using chat is not always easy. Our membership form can be found at our website, Brookhaven NAACP.org. Please make sure you go to our website to renew, join, and to purchase a youth membership. John, without further ado, John is our secretary of our branch, and he's doing a fantastic job. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Ms. Christian. So yeah, this is the trivia social fun part of our presentation today. We have a few questions, and again, please mark down your answers in some way, and at the end we'll go over the answers. And the first question, our first question today is, who was the first national NAACP president? So that's question number 1. Who was the first president of the national NAACP organization? All right. And question number 2, after you've had a moment to think about that, question number 2, who was the first female national NAACP president? So the first president, question number 1, the first president was a man. Question number 2, who was the first woman to be the national NAACP president? Question number 3, if we're ready for that. Question number 3, and this is a good one. I like this one because it's a beautiful song and we just heard it just a few moments ago. Who wrote "Lift Every Voice and Sing"? Who wrote the Black National Anthem, referred to as "Lift Every Voice and Sing"? And question number 4.
I'm going to take the 4 through 6.
Oh, that's you're up to. That's right. I'm only
Yes.
doing what you think. Okay.
Okay.
I'm happy to hand it over to our
Okay.
committee member, Ms. Elise Nichols Powell.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mako. How many game changers are there on our NAACP national agenda? How many game changers are there? And question number 5, who was the NAACP's first director of publicity and research? The first director of publicity and research. And question number 6, what country had a campaign for the year of the return? What country had a campaign for the year of the return?
And number 7, what year was the year of the return? So the campaign, the year of the return, what country was it, is number 6. But number 7 is, what year was the year of the return? So now we're going to ask you to tally, right, make sure you have all your questions finalized. We're going to read the answers. John, if you can give us the answers to number 1 to 3.
Absolutely. So the answer to question number 1, which was who was the first national NAACP president, our first national president's name was Moorfield Story, from 1845 to 1929, a prominent constitutional lawyer and past president of the American Bar Association, became the NAACP's first president from 1910 to 1929. So the first dates, 1845 to 1929, was his lifespan, I guess, and he was the first national NAACP president from 1910 to 1929.
And who got that right? 0. Oh, Miss Brown, okay. Dolores got Moorfield, okay. No cheating. Put your phone away. No cheating. She's cheating. Go ahead, John. No phones.
That's your sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't tell me no phone.
No cheating, Miss Bowman. No.
That's my sister, Nicole.
That's Mr. Bowman's sister. See? That one don't fall. Don't fall far. See?
So moving on to question number 2. The question number 2 was, who was the first female national NAACP president? And her name was Enola Pettigen McMillan. And she was born 1904 through 2006. She was an American educator, civil rights activist, and community leader, and the first female national president of the NAACP. That was Enola Pettigen McMillan. I wonder how many people got that one right, because I was not aware of that myself. So we learn something every day.
And then number 3, John.
Okay. Who wrote "Lift Every Voice and Sing" is the question number 3, and the
Now,
answer is
everybody should get this right.
yes.
You got to turn in the NAACP card if you don't get this right.
James
What did Biden say? You're not Black.
James Weldon Johnson. Do I get a pass? Do I get a pass on that? The Black National Anthem, "Lift Every Voice and Sing," was a hymn written originally as a poem by NAACP leader James Weldon Johnson in the year 1900. And if I might add, I believe he wrote it in honor of President Abraham Lincoln. The poem, when he wrote the poem, it was inspired. He wrote it in response to President Abraham Lincoln, and it became adopted by the NAACP and became known as the Black National Anthem by James Weldon Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mako. Now, question number 4, how many game changers are there on our NAACP national agenda? There are 6. And I'm going to read through them very quickly in case there's someone who isn't familiar with them. Number 1, economic sustainability, a chance to live the American dream for all. Question number 2, education, a free, high quality public education for all. 3, health, health equality for all Americans, including a healthy life and high quality health care. 4, public safety and criminal justice, equitable dispensation of justice for all. Number 5, voting rights and political representation, protect and enhance voting rights and fair representation. 6, expanding youth and adult engagement. Those are the 6 game changers. Question number 5, who?
National strategy. Very good. Thank you, Elise.
Okay. Who was the NAACP's first director of publicity and research? Should know this name. The first director of publicity and research was W.E.B. Du Bois. And question number 6, what country had a campaign for the year of the return? The country is Ghana.
And number 7, does anyone know what was the year for the year of the return? The year for the year of the return was 2019. It was right before the pandemic. So the year of the return is a landmark spiritual celebration it's a landmark spiritual celebration marking 400 years of the beginning of the African diaspora via the slave trade. And the idea was to welcome Africans from across the world back into the global African family, celebrating your birthright and history. So it's 2019. All right, does anyone want to share with us who got 7 out of 7? 7 out of 7? 6 out of 7? 5 out of 7? We'll have to do some educational components, I see. 5 out of 7. 4 out of 7. 3 out of 7. 2 out of 7. All right, Miss Brown, 2 out of 7. Panera bread or glove?
Well, I did look up one.
That's all right. We're feeling honest. At least you told. Panera
hear you.
bread or Grubhub?
Her last name is Bowman.
But which one you want?
Panera bread.
Okay, so we're gonna send this to you, Miss Bowman, Miss Claudette Bowman, Ellen Claudette Bowman. You give us her address. We'll send this to you. So that's
Wonderful.
Panera
Yay.
for Dolores. Nice one for you next week. 1 out of 7. 1 out of 7. Dr. Bob, which one did you get correct? You're muted.
James Weldon Johnson, and I got Du Bois mixed up with 1 and which was it? 1 and 5. I knew he was in there somewhere, but okay.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, we're going to send you to Brooklyn your $15 Grubhub gift card. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so very much. And now we are going to, before we go to the keynote, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Bowman. We just heard from Dr. Anthony. She just texted me, and she has a few patients backed up, and I think there's a patient in distress. She's unable to join us, but she did email us, of course, her 5 healthy tips for us to follow. So I'm just going to show you Dr. Anthony very quickly. She just emailed me. She's an internist in New York Presbyterian Medical Group. She's an internist providing care for a range of conditions. And after graduating from State University of New York Downstate Medical Center, she completed her residency at Staten Island University Hospital. And Dr. Anthony was at the front lines fighting the COVID pandemic in Brooklyn 2 years ago. So we thank her for her stalwart effort and commitment. She has provided to us her 5 healthy tips to leave with us for health: diet, preferably plant-based or Mediterranean; exercising at least 20 minutes most days of the week; elevating heart rate to where you can talk, if not sing; mental health care. She said in the text to me that Sarah will cover this more, but meditation, prayer, and professional therapy if needed. She emphasizes as an internist, mental health care. 4th, medications and vaccinations as recommended by your doctor for the prevention, cure, or management of disease. And 5, risk assessment, knowing your family history, discussing it with your doctor for more additional or aggressive modification. She agrees with genetic testing, and for you to know where your DNA is from, so that you can get a full picture of your risk levels as it relates to disease. So those are her 5. I'm going to forward this to Ms. Bowman and to Elise now, and we can maybe include that in our newsletter when we put that together. So we thank Dr. Anthony for that. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Bowman now to introduce our keynote speaker, Ms. Sarah Dowd, and I have something here just to put up her picture while Ms. Bowman introduces her.
Okay. Hello, members and friends. Our esteemed panelist is Ms. Sarah Anthony Dowd, CEO, MSW CSAC, a devoted multiracial minority woman, adopted and raised in a conservative white Republican household, married and divorced more than once, a single mother of 3, once diagnosed with leukemia. Sarah has been provided with some of the most prestigious education and career opportunity in life. However, her personal life experiences have nurtured her passion in helping individuals push forward when life challenges seem too difficult to bear. As owner of 3 minority and women-owned businesses, Transition 1, 2, and Domesticality TM, Sarah has over 20 years of professional experience assisting individuals, family, and children rebuild their lives after life-altering tragedies. Having served as an expert witness throughout Northern Virginia courts, Sarah has been deemed by the courts as an expert on domestic family issues. Sarah is a certified parent educator and has developed her own child-focused curriculum approved by the Supreme Court, which she uses for co-parenting classes. As a CEO of Domesticology, Sarah has branded Domesticology TM as the science of living your best domestic life. Domesticology promoted via her work, renowned radio show on Uncensored Network, seminars, educational tools, and books. Through her education, personal and professional experience, Sarah has been featured in NBC, ABC, and Fox News affiliates for her expertise and work with family reunification. In 2005, Sarah was awarded for outstanding customer service, and in 2006 with the Arlington, Virginia Professional Leadership. And without further ado, we'll bring on our guest speaker, Ms. Sarah E. Dowd.
Thank you.
Ms. Dowd, please take the floor, and you have about 10 minutes, and then we'll do Q&A. Thank you so much.
Perfect. So what I wanted to talk about is our mental health and how it's been affected in the pandemic. And not going into every detail, but I'm trying to keep it simple. The things that I have seen in my career since the pandemic started is so many clients that have come in with having lost their jobs. So not being able to work through the pandemic, and that causes for isolation when everyone was quarantined at home. So many people, we don't think if you have family, it's great and wonderful to have family that are quarantined with you. But a lot of times we don't think that those people who are quarantined all by themselves without anybody. And, one other thing is just having to deal with the grieving process of having family and friends pass from the pandemic. And so just in June of 2020, the diagnosis of anxiety rose 4 times from 2019 based on the pandemic. And then in 2020, studies showed an increase in the depression diagnosis from just 8.5% to 27.8%. And then in 2021, that rate jumped to 32.8%, which really is saying that it's affecting 1 in every 3 adults. And that's depression based on everything that's going around. And some of those, symptoms that we're seeing is, people expressing feelings of fear, anger, sadness, numbness, frustration with all of the situations that are going around. It's impacting us individually. We see people with changes in appetite, changes in their energy level and activity levels. The gyms closed down, and people couldn't go to the gym. So we had to get creative in our own homes on ways to keep activity levels up. People have noticed difficulty in concentrating, making decisions, difficulty sleeping, or having reoccurring nightmares. Physical reactions such as headaches, body pain, stomach problems. And, before the pandemic hit, someone coughs and, no one thinks, but now people are afraid to be in the community and actually cough because everyone's going to think that they have COVID. Or we get a headache or start sweating, automatically the first thing that we think about So it's important to think the highest level of negative coping skills
Yeah,
that
we lost you there for a moment, Ms. Dowd. You were frozen for a moment. You're back now, though. Yes.
Okay. I don't know where I left off, but
I believe the exercise part was the last part we heard.
Exercise part about the gym.
oh, okay. We have people that are having difficulty concentrating or making decisions, difficulty sleeping, body pains, headaches, also skin rashes, worsening of chronic health problems. And we are seeing, you know, everyone is worried about their own physical well-being. And if for some reason we're in the community and someone coughs, everyone's in a panic and worried about, oh my goodness. Or if we start to sweat or anything, we're worried, do I have COVID? Could that be a possibility? So it adds to the level of stress that we deal with on a daily basis. And I would say that some of the biggest negative coping strategies that have come across in my office has been during the pandemic, just a binging behavior. So it could be binging on food, binging on alcohol, mind-altering drugs. Just so one of my businesses is a substance abuse business for adults. And the biggest issue that has come across is that during the pandemic and everything was closed, the local ABC and liquor stores remained open. You could go to restaurants and order a drink to go in your car to take home. And so we saw a huge rise on the substance abuse issues that have gone on, and also isolating yourself. And that we would start to see a higher level of domestic violence in the homes, people stuck together with each other. That also increased cases of abuse and neglect against children, and depression and anxiety, mental health in general. But some positive coping skills to deal with mental health is one, just as we just saw from the doctor, that caring for your body is so important. Eating right, hydrating, different ways to make nutrition a little bit more interesting, trying new recipes or cuisine, planting a vegetable or an herb garden. Everyone can do that from inside their home, even during the winter, starting little herb gardens. But also making it a social connection, cooking with someone via Zoom and trying a new recipe, or having someone walk you through cooking a recipe. But, also you want to move more and figure out ways to exercise. And there's so many new products that come out, and, sometimes just walking up and down your staircase is helpful. The little things matter. Getting enough sleep. I think through the pandemic, their sleep patterns changed drastically, and they would be up during the day, up during the night, sleeping during the day. And it would be, I sleep and then I'm awake for a couple of hours and I do whatever I want, because no one had to necessarily get up and go to work, or they would get up and go to work with, a shirt on and their underwear, because they don't have to get in person. They don't have to be in person. But having relaxation, trying soothing music or white noise. We used to always read that our phones, if you look at them at night and you have the blue light on, it's supposed to help. But studies have shown that it actually continues to cause your brain to respond in a way that's going to keep you awake. So reading a good book, an old-fashioned book, and not on the Kindle and things like that, but reading an old-fashioned book or a magazine, listening to meditation. You can find meditation on YouTube. It doesn't cost any money. And if you need help getting to sleep, definitely consult with a doctor, because again, there are ways that people, alcohol alone, I would say 3 out of 6 clients that come in use alcohol to sleep, and they will binge drink at night in order to sleep at night. And that is actually the worst sleep that your body would go through while you're under the influence. The next thing would be making your emotional health a priority. Honor your own emotions with self-compassion, doing things for yourself. Be intentional about recharging your emotional battery, taking a break, planning a vacation, doing things that you enjoy, music and dancing. If you're home alone, you can turn the music up and dance by yourself. But it's good, you know, dancing and music is good for the soul, as are spiritual and faith-based practices. It's important. Give yourself permission to set boundaries with people who may drain your energy. Definitely involve yourself with people that are positive. And, you know, we have family members that we need to sometimes push away a little bit to keep ourselves mentally stable. And it's okay to set appropriate boundaries. It's not that you don't want to be with someone or talk to someone, but we have to keep ourselves, make ourselves a priority. Connecting with what matters is there's always a way to connect these days. There's no reason that people should go without communicating or allowing yourself to isolate yourself at home. And we have phones, we have video now. This is the new wave of the world. And it's important that we utilize those things. Focus on what is safe and possible doing rather than doing versus what is not safe and possible. So trying to change our mindset around thinking more positive versus just the negative helps our mental health. When we worry about the negative, that causes a level of anxiety to creep up. Contributing to the well-being of others. Everyone just in this meeting, this was a fantastic meeting, just the education and things that I learned in this, you know, I won't tell you how many out of 7 I missed. But it was a, you know, it was this is a nice opportunity, something that brings education and community and just conversation, and it gets us out of our ordinary everyday routine. So, you know, doing things for others as well, and we benefit from support of others. So having that supportive network and working with family and friends, donating your time, your food, money or goods as you're able to. And it's very important to be able to give back, because in the end, we feel better about the things that we're doing. We talked about connection, trying a virtual get-together with purpose. This is a virtual get-together with purpose. You could have a virtual tea. I know the NAACP chapter out here in Stafford is having a women's tea in March, virtually. And so that's something that I'm looking forward to. But also, we talked about virtual cooking, virtual game night, or even a virtual wine tasting. I know Nicole Jean has hosted a couple of those as well. Setting goals. When we set goals, sometimes people set goals long-term, but it's hard to feel motivated during this isolation time. So setting smaller, achievable goals to help keep you focused and feel accomplished. Do the little things first, even if it's put the dishes or make my bed. You know, doing the little things that you can do in less than 5 minutes makes you feel accomplished. And it instead of, oh, I got this huge laundry list, let me just forget it and not do it today. It's important to know the facts of what you're worried about or what you're thinking about, or just COVID in general. Knowing the facts, so using credible websites and researching information from credible places and people. And then, as the doctor stated in her list, seeking out professional help. For people with new or existing mental health concerns, that it causes you, it gets in the way of your daily life on a regular basis. And knowing that and understanding yourself and being okay to admit when things are tough. We all are human. We all go through difficult things in life, sometimes better, sometimes worse. But it's important to know your own self and reach out to a healthcare provider. And because when we're not at our best, we have trouble working, we have trouble caring for our children, or even just to function on a daily basis. I had clients that, said, hey, COVID's great. I don't even have to take a shower. They would go days and stay in their pajamas and just not be productive. And that increases the level of risk for depression and just feeling you're feeling not at your best. So it's important to seek help if you need it. Definitely, contribute to the well-being of others, connect creativity, get back to hobbies that you've enjoyed as a child. We don't think about that anymore, things that you enjoy doing, because we're so busy going and working and living our lives as adults that we miss the little things that we did as children. So it's important just to take note of understanding yourself and being okay with sharing that information and talking to somebody about it. So those are my tips for the day.
Wonderful.
Very good.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dowd. This was a chock full of information, chock full of wonderful things for us. Questions and discussion. We're going to open it up for 5 or 6 minutes. Elise?
Yes, this was fabulous. It's just
absolutely wonderful.
Gosh, that would solve all these problems. I dealt with children. I taught school for many years, and many of the children had no way of developing their own personal interests unless their parents or a teacher or a clergy person introduced something to them and then allowed them and encouraged them to follow that. Now, that did not come from the child himself or herself. And many parents, as I counseled parents, wanted their kids to be this and be that. But times like this, you listed a fabulous array of personal interests. And to me, it takes something very special for a person to be happy or content. I don't mean woohoo happy, but be content to be by himself or herself for a period of time. How would you counsel a family with children or adults to turn inward to themselves, to be good company to themselves? I'm not, this has been a long time. As we know, people have died, people have gotten extremely ill, and so on. But what you're saying is that the people need to turn inside and develop this desire to exercise. Just make yourself go up and down the stairs. But we're so outer directed. We need to be entertained, and that doesn't come from inside. What would you suggest for that?
As far as families just in general being in the house, and I agree that it's a big difference from pre-pandemic to when we were all quarantined in the house, and you have to get creative around and encouraging your children to do different things. And some things I, as a single mom who worked all the time, and the last thing I wanted to do was come home to a huge messy kitchen because my daughter decided to make chocolate chip cookies. But I also, allowing the kids to take more responsibility and coming up with ideas for game night, or, I might be exhausted and don't want to watch a kid movie, but I had to work on myself to allow myself to, allow their entertainment to entertain me as well. And encouraging them to, okay, you're the lead for tonight. What should we have for dinner? Or what would you make for dinner? And then allow them to make it. It may come out great, may come out horrible, but in that sense, everyone's getting a responsibility. So they're learning responsibility. they're being creative because they're thinking about what would everyone like to eat or what do I want to cook, and then actually going through that process. So yes, going inside to get yourself to do more, it can be a challenge. And having that support network around you, I know that I can call Miss Nicole Jean and say, hey, look, I'm having a rough day today. And we'll talk about it.
Right.
And have times and opportunities to where we can utilize those supports. But so many children that were home and in school virtually, it was a nightmare for parents. I mean, I became the teacher, the lunch lady, the administrator, plus run a whole business. And it was stressful and it was tiresome. And my children would question about the pandemic itself. And I just wanted them to go out and play, you know, but it became a challenge. And so I've had to say, look, I'm going to need help, and here's the responsibility. And it teaches our young children, I need to be up for school at certain time, be available, participate, and then come, get off the computer, come prepare my own lunch and help my brother.
Right.
So it can be fun, but it's also a learning opportunity. And when you keep people moving and participating and active, they're not isolating themselves. Because you put a 17-year-old boy, he'll stay in his room 90% of the time or playing video games. So you really have to know your children and yourself and get creative.
And then they grow to anticipate, it's 4:30, I need to clear the dishwasher so that we can proceed, because rather than, as you said, sit in bed and wait until something happens and then they get an attitude because things aren't the way they want it to be.
Right, exactly.
I think we should find a way to develop a survival guide for something like this. This is not the last time it's going to happen.
Yes.
And I really think we need like a Black family guide to a pandemic or isolation, something that will help us so that we can help support our families and children and the elderly. My mother, the senior citizens clubs closed. So all her friends that they would, 150 seniors clubs, they had nowhere to go. And a lot of these senior citizens, they're widows and widowers. So the weekly outing once a week with my mom, this club, was all they had. I can't tell you how many of her friends died during the pandemic. My mother was very, very sad for a long time because her friends were dying. They couldn't go to the funeral. They couldn't be together to console one another. So we need some sort of survival guide. Like we should have outdoor places that you can go to, or places with filtration. Like we need to be challenging our elected officials to prepare for the next pandemic.
And not even that, you have people of that age that have no idea how to use a cell phone, computers, things like that. And just getting them, and, our kids know more about computers than we do.
Yes.
And that's the new wave. But, I had my oldest daughter, drove her in an old car, and she didn't even know how to roll the old school windows down. And instead of pressing a button, and that astonished me years ago, but it just shows, how do kids, would they know how to pick up an old school phone and press the buttons or turn the dial? And so, it is a learning challenge that we have to assist and have places people can go to get on a computer, and someone sets it up and says, oh, okay, here, this is who you're trying to reach. Let me help you. Because that will help with mental health and just overall well-being.
Yes. And before we go, and thank you so much, Sarah, we have a gift for you. that we're going to mail. We heard you like Starbucks.
Oh, I do.
So
Thank you.
card for you that will be in the mail to Virginia. Everyone give Miss Dowd a hand. We thank her so much. Before we go, we wanted to hear from Dr. Bob from Brooklyn. Dr. Bob is a public health physician who has spent years studying, disease and viruses in the community as well as vaccines. Can you leave us with some more tips? We heard a lot today. Who will hear Miss Sarah come back again? Raise your hand. Absolutely. This was fantastic. We're going to do a Women's History Month. I got permission from our president, Miss Bowman and Miss Nichols. We're going to have Miss Dowd and Dr. Anthony back for Women's History Month for a discussion about women's health. So this is so important. Dr. Bob, give us some tips, some things for us to be thinking about and to take away from today. And thank you for joining us from Brooklyn.
And Nicole, I have to say, you always keep me on my toes. I can't show up anywhere.
That's right.
Well, and thank you for that. Can I get the screen shared for a minute? Because now that you impressed,
I think John can. John,
me into service here.
Yes. What is your oath first? Do no harm.
All right. I was always taught to deal with specifics, and one of the specifics that I would like to refer everyone to is the new recommendations for the CDC. Is this coming up?
No, hold on.
We don't see anything yet. Hold on.
He's
going to have to make you host.
Making you host now.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Bob.
All right, can you see the screen?
Share it again, please. I think just made you hosts.
Yeah, close it and reopen it and then share. You should be able to do it now. Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
You went to the bottom of the screen. It says share screen. And pulled it up in the box.
All righty. Here we go.
Let's see.
Yes, here we are. Can you see it?
No.
There we go.
We got it.
All right.
Nice.
Yes.
These are the latest recommendations from the CDC with regard to masking.
This is check, the community level, county check.
Right. Going forward, your recommendations with regard to masking are going to be local. And there are all sorts of public health reasons for this. Counting is just inaccurate, and that's how they were doing it before. But they're now going to assign how it is that you should mask in public by your county. So you'll go to this website, you'll pick out your state, your city, and your county, and it will tell you specific to your particular location what the level of risk is for you to mask or unmask. So that's something that's come out within the last 24 to 48 hours. And I would heartily suggest that you consult that and use that as a guide for your masking behavior.
And we saw Dr. Key was in Southampton and she had a mask on.
Right, which is if she's comfortable with that. But if you go down to New York and look up Suffolk County, you get a specific recommendation with regard to whether or not Suffolk County is high, medium, or low with regard to risk. But again, these are recommendations. And if, I went out Thursday night, I knew this recommendation was coming up, and I knew that Brooklyn was low with regard to risk, but I had a mask on, and other people did too in this indoor environment. So again, this is just something for guidance. The second thing I'd like to share with you is a specific recommendation with regard to exercise. One of the things that distinguishes us from other living beings is mobility. And one of the simplest exercises that you can do is getting up. And there is an exercise, I'm not going to give you the screen adaptation, you can look this up. It's called the Turkish get up. Basically, a person lies flat on the floor, raises a hand, and if you're a gym rat, you usually have a weight in your hand, but you raise one hand and then you see if you can get up from that position. I guarantee you that is a challenge. And that is something that you can do by yourself. It exercises all of the major muscle groups. And with practice, you can get to the point where you might want to add weight and things of that sort. But it's something that stimulates the mental and the physical activity, and you don't need anybody else to do that. So I'd hardly recommend trying that. Anyone here, I'll bet $100 that if you were to lay down and try and get up in 4 to 5 movements, you couldn't do it without practice. So I offer you the Turkish get up.
Is that a bet?
Huh? Yeah, that's a bet.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
That's a
Let's
bet.
do it.
I would bet you for that $100.
Donna, give me the screen real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Let's
show it
see.
to them. Yeah, I think that's a health challenge. I think Dr. Bob just issued a health challenge.
I need to reclaim host and then give it to you, Nicole. Hold on.
I'm just gonna show you. This is something I did not know. Very good, thank you. We've been challenged. And here,
And the last thing I'd recommend is there was an article in, I believe, Atlantic Magazine that occurred either this month or last month. In the public health field, we're now dealing with this concept of moving out of the pandemic stage into what's called endemicity. What is endemicity? How many people remember West Nile virus when it first came out?
yes.
Yeah. Does anyone recall any news recently of you talking or hearing about West Nile virus? No.
No.
Why? West Nile virus is now endemic. It's something that happens so frequently and so regularly, it's not even talked about. And this is the direction in which we feel COVID is going to assume its prominence. It's going to become endemic. We're just going to live with it. This article in Atlantic Magazine talks about what endemicity means, and you might want to avail yourself to it.
Thank you.
Thank you so
good.
much, Dr. Bob. We learned quite a bit today about depression, anxiety, dance, music, spiritual practice, the Turkish get up, exercising. This was fantastic. I'm going to turn it over to, thank you, Dr. Bob and Sarah. I want to give both of you a round of applause. We'd love to have you back. And
Definitely, anytime.
We would love to have you back. This was absolutely fantastic. It was what we needed to hear.
Wonderful.
Definitely what we can take away and improve our lives. We thank both of our guest speakers, Ms. Dowd. We also thank Dr. Anthony for her service and for the things that she's doing. We thank Dr. Bob for his public service and the things that he's doing to better our community. This is information. Pass it to your family and friends, share it, and let's encourage it. Let's make a vow as a chapter, maybe as a unit, to improve our health. Let's make a commitment to adopt a more healthy lifestyle and action each month. I want to turn it over to Ms. Bowman for some closing remarks. And then we're just going to have some social time for 10 minutes. I'll play some music. We can talk. Feel free to go. We can have a discussion, just as though we would be milling about if we were at a restaurant or in a community space. I'm just going to let Ms. Bowman have some parting words. And thank you, everyone, for your attendance today. It was wonderful.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you to our president, Dr. Georgette Keys. And thank you for all of our board members for all of their support. And thank you ever so much to Dr. Dowd, to Ms. Dowd. And what's the other doctor's name? I forgot his name so quickly.
Bob.
And to Dr. Bob. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot. And yeah, we could do this again. It's been very fun and relaxing, and there was a lot of information. So thanks again. I won't take it any longer.
Our slideshow. John, please cue up our slideshow. We have just a quick 2-minute, 5-7 slideshow to show you a little bit of history about our chapter and the things we have been doing in the past 2 years.
Okay, let me reclaim host. And so, Brookhaven NAACP Black History Month program, your physical mental health, February 26th.
Yeah, but I won't read it anymore. Oh, this is. Oh, and thank you to our esteemed secretary for all the hard work.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Didn't mean to forget about you.
Oh, I know you didn't. Original charter that was for the NAACP branch that started in Patchogue, I believe. I think it was referred to as a Patchogue branch at that time. Our current officers. And when when the branch revitalized just a few years ago, and youth members and in attendance at the one of our anniversary barbecues. Showing up in the community with the Main Street Alliance, addressing economic issues. As our national president, Mr. Derek Johnson. And our very, very esteemed New York State Conference president, Dr. Hazel Dukes.
We got to correct that and put doctor in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, our event last summer of 2020, the Caravan for Justice in the summer of 2020. That was at the H. Lee Dennison building in Hauppauge.
Mm-hmm.
Right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and our time spent with the Stony Brook Unitarian congregation.
Church.
There you go.
The who's who in our branch leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was from last year. You could close it now.
Okay.
That was from last year. Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much. We had a great time with you. If we were out, we would put on the electric slide and call it a day.
Wonderful.
We'll bust out with
Great. Thank you, Ms.
slide.
Nicole Jean. You did a great job as usual.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you,
John,
everyone,
and
for coming.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes.
and
Welcome.
Ellen.
Excellent work, Elise and Miss Bowman and John. Thank you for everything.
Thank
Thank you